Man, I leave the house for 2 days. I go on holidays for 2 days. And, of course, the most ridiculous trade I think I've ever seen goes down. I was in the middle of sitting on the couch in my room watching a movie. I checked my phone and the Real app, shout out the Real app, this isn't sponsored, but the Real app gets me where I need to be at all times. Luka Doncic is a Laker. Okay, well, I know I'm 48 hours late. This news has gone around the NBA world 105 times from 105 different sources and analytics, and the NBA world has gone crazy over this thing, and it's just insane. Like, this Dallas trade, it really puts into perspective. I thought Luka Doncic was for sure gonna be a Maverick for his whole career, and the front office of the Dallas Mavericks just decides to trade a future Hall of Famer for maybe a second ballot Hall of Famer. It's Anthony Davis is hugely up for debate. This isn't a knock on Anthony Davis. He's a great player, probably going to make the Hall of Fame. Not undisputedly, considering his success in terms of he's never actually won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's only won one championship back in 2020. There's a lot of things to say about Anthony Davis, but this trade has just completely changed the way that I see the front offices of all NBA teams, because Luka Doncic was one of those guys I would look at him the other day and think he is untouchable. He's not going anywhere. They're going to pay him whatever amount of money he wants. He's only 24 years old, I believe, 24, 25 years old. He's setting the franchise up for the next 15 years of success. He's only just going to get into his prime. They're going to build around him. They're going to have a team that's going to be competitive for the next 10 years. And then I get a notification on my phone that says that's all gone out the window and he's now a Laker with 40-year-old LeBron James. What their front office is doing, I just have no idea. Anthony Davis, as I said, great player, but there's only 3, maybe 4 more years of Anthony Davis that we have left of productive, good basketball. Luka Doncic has got another 15 years in him. And, from that press conference that Jason Kidd, and I forget what his name is now, I should know his name because he's an absolute idiot. Anyway, they basically just went in the press conference and said, we only want to do what's best for us over the next 3 years, but because we believe in 10 years' time that we're not going to be in this job, so we don't really care. Well, that's really going to backfire for him, I believe, and he's going to completely, without a doubt, end up without a job in the next 18 months. Because as good as, I will say, the good parts of the trade, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, they're going to work well together. They didn't give up a lot of their supporting cast in Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and PJ Washington and all those guys. They're all still on the team, which is great for them. But they basically just shut their championship window about 10 years. Because Luka Doncic was a generational player. He's an unrenounced superstar in the league. He just goes in and makes numbers every night. There was rumours, the thing that they were saying, they didn't want to pay Luka his $350 million next season that he was due for. And undeniably, if he was still on the team in 6 months' time, you would have to give him that contract. You would not give Luka Doncic anything underneath that. So I do see from that point of view, they don't want that much money tied up into one player, because to me, $350 million is absurd. It's a ridiculous amount of money for one person. But Luka Doncic, if anyone is worth that money, him and Nikola Jokic are the two people I see in this league that are worth that much. And Shea, of course. But Shea's already moved teams a couple of times, so he couldn't really provide for that Supermax. But it's just, to me, I don't understand from their point of view. We're going to have to wait and see what it looks like in 2 weeks' time, how Anthony Davis is playing, how Kyrie's playing. And Luka to the Lakers, man. It was probably one of the 5 teams, if I said he was to be traded to, he was never going to be traded to. Luka just really doesn't seem like that bright lights, wants to be in the spotlight all the time. Things that, living 5 minutes away from Hollywood gives you. And for him to now be in that scenario with the LeBron James is going to be insane. Luka and LeBron for this next year and a half, provided LeBron plays next year as well, is going to be fun to watch. It's seriously going to be it's going to be insane to watch. It's going to be good fun. I would say their championship window lasts for this year. And then after that, LeBron's sort of done, I think, after this season. I've said that about LeBron for the past 10 years, but anyway. And so they're going to fight it out this season, see what sort of noise they can make. Luka, I think he comes back from his hamstring maybe in a few weeks. We don't sort of know what the timetable looks like for Luka in that sense. But he's going to really change the way that the Lakers play basketball. The only thing I can say with the Lakers is that even before they got rid of their All-NBA center, they needed another center. And they've traded away now their pretty much only center, who we know for the longest time, he said he likes playing power forward. He only ever wants to play power forward. He lives at power forward, and that's his best position. He's now going to be able to play power forward in Dallas. But in terms of the Lakers and their job security and all the rest of that, I don't know where they go. Because you've got bigger guys like Jackson Hayes, who's under contract, but he's a mediocre role player at best. Christian Koloko, he only ever got spurt minutes in a team where they don't have any center depth. So the Lakers are really lacking in the bigs department. And it's going to get to a point where I think they're going to have LeBron playing big man 5 again, like they did a couple of years ago when they had him playing center. So in terms of that, that's the only thing I really don't like about this trade, is that they've really just put a massive hole in their center depth. And I don't know where they go from there. They've got a lot of money now tied up in both Luka and Bron. Bron's on $50 million a year. I think Luka's about 40-ish. He's on like the biggest rookie contract. I don't know where they go from here, to be honest. It's kind of insane. There's just so many things I can say about the trade, and until I see both of them on court together for both sides, whether it be Kyrie, Anthony Davis, or Luka and Bron, I see like they're sort of the same player in my opinion, in the sense of like play style. Like they both like to distribute the ball, they both like to attack, shoot the ball. They both like to do everything. So when you have two people on the court both doing everything, I think it's really going to clash, and it's like they're going to have to find some sort of in the middle. Because even while Kyrie was with Luka and Kyrie were a thing, Luka still took majority of the ball handling duties. And it was only until Luka went to the bench that Kyrie then took over the court, ran with the second unit and all the rest of that. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two coexist on a court together. It's going to be exciting, don't get me wrong. It's going to be weird to watch. Seeing Luka in a Lakers jersey is just going to be insane. In terms of Dallas, like I said, I don't know where Dallas go from here. It's a really, really, really weird trade. And it's ruined not only their right now, because we all know 6 months ago they were in the NBA Finals. And it's also ruined their future. Because Kyrie's only got a few years left. Anthony Davis has only got a few years left. You got younger guys like PJ and Derek Lively and those sort of guys. But who's going to lead them now? Luka was going to be their leader for now, for the future, for just their whole, like his whole tenure there. And they've just said, no, we don't want to pay him. He doesn't fit into our timeline as an organisation. His timeline, I forget what his name is. It's really going to kill me now. Being 3 years' time. Sorry, buddy, but I think after this trade that you've just pulled off, I think you're only going to be in the office maybe 12 months, I would give you at best. I really don't know. Like, it's just insane to think about. Like, Luka, Jokic, Steph, would say Bron 3 years ago, but the way the trade market's going, I really don't know what's going on. Shea, untouchables. We all thought this was a given. Like, you just leave it. They don't even ring phones about each other. And then it turns out they offered Luka. The Lakers didn't even call their phones asking about Luka. Whatever his name was, picked the phone up and goes, hey, do you want a generational 15-time All-Star, 2-time MVP? It's ridiculous. I can't wrap my head around it. It makes no sense. The Lakers, mate, I'd do this deal for the Lakers 100 times out of 100 because it's going to set their future up. They have a guy now he's got a good another 13 years of basketball left in him. So for the Lakers, it was a no-brainer. If someone calls my phone asking me if I want Luka Doncic, I'm just going to make it happen. And if it means getting rid of Anthony Davis, only I think has 3 or 4 good years of basketball left in him, I would do it time and time again. It's such an insane trade to wrap my head around. Like, I can't fully just, until I see it, I still don't believe that it actually happened. And like Twitter was in an absolute frenzy over it. It was all over my Instagram. It still is all over my Instagram. Like, it's just ridiculous. In terms of the other trade that happened yesterday, as I said, I leave for 2 days. 2 big trades go down. Like, it's so frustrating. De'Aaron Fox is now a San Antonio Spur. Zach LaVine is now a Sacramento King. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are on the same team again. They've just moved to the West Coast now. The Spurs get their man. It was rumoured for a long time that the Spurs wanted De'Aaron Fox. They wanted a future point guard for Wemby. They've now found him. D Fox, we know for the longest time, hasn't been the most amazing playmaker in the world. But hopefully this last year and a half of Chris Paul helped him with that. Or hopefully Chris Paul mentors him to where he wants to be as a playmaker so that him and Wemby can fully coexist with one another. Because I think both of them have the play styles to where they can coexist with one another. De'Aaron just needs to find that next step up when it comes to playmaking, and the trade will be insane. As for the Kings, depart with De'Aaron Fox after, I think it was maybe 7 years together. Their backcourt, looks a little weird now. They don't really have the guy at point guard that's really going to run the organisation. They have Zach, who we know Zach's a great ball handling guard. He's a bit tall to be a point guard though. DeMar DeRozan's going to control the ball. I guess you do have your Domantas Sabonis, who we know in terms of centers and playmaking, he's one of the best to do it. And you can run a lot of offensive sets through him. With Zach and DeMar, they're going to be able to run great sets together and it's going to work. So It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of who they give the ball handling duties to for the majority of the time. I would assume a lot of it would be run through Delmas, but only time will tell. In terms of the Chicago Bulls, I really don't want to talk about you guys. You've basically just traded your 10-year veteran who did absolutely everything for your organization through the hard and rough times that you guys have had over the last 10 years, and you basically got a bag of chips for him. Because I don't know why you believe that Zach LaVine is worth Kevin Huerter. I don't get it. It clears a lot of money off your books, but you could have gotten so much more for Zach LaVine. You could have gotten a young and up-and-coming piece out of the Kings, but you've just settled for Kevin Huerter, who, no disrespect to Kevin Huerter, he's a sharpshooter, but for Zach LaVine is kind of crazy. Yeah, I really can't speak too much on the Bulls. I don't really know what sort of route they're going at the moment. I believe they're going for the tank, just like Brooklyn and the Wizards and all those sorts of guys. But to get rid of Zach LaVine for basically nothing is insane to me. But yeah, 2 days worth of me going away, and they're the trades that go down. So remind me to not go on holidays in the future, because always something's going to happen. So I need to just be glued to this seat, ready to go. I believe the Warriors, as I'm recording this, are playing right now. So I'm going to get to watching that. Videos will be coming back shortly. This video I feel like had to be made. I wouldn't be a content creator for the NBA if I didn't talk about a Luka Doncic trade, which is just, I can't process it in my head. But yeah, enjoy this. Plenty of videos coming in the future. I'm going to get a lot of it out. Stat line of the day will be coming later on in the day today, whenever you're viewing this. Liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. It helps me out a ton. Keeps me motivated to keep going, making these videos for you guys. And I will see you in the coming days with more videos. Hopefully not any more superstar trades, because a Luka Doncic trade was more than enough for me for this trade period. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your days and whatever you're doing, and I will see you guys in the next coming days.